Hello everyone, Future Clementine here. Before you start watching this video, I just want to say that there will be designing videos, so you will get to see me doing line arts. There's going to be probably 67 videos just on that this week and this weekend. I had some housework that I needed to get done, and it ate away all my time. Still have to do some graphic design work. My videos are going to be a bit late. But you don't have to worry about that because they will be up this weekend. Definitely 67 videos because I'll have 6 line arts. Again, thanks for watching my videos, and go back to the past me. Watch this video. It's boring as hell, but it's a little bit more educational. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Peace. Hello everyone, my name is Clementine and welcome back to Clementine Creative. I am back with another design video. Today we're going to start this design session a little bit differently. This video is going to be a little bit boring, but it is quite educational. I do recommend you watch it. We're going to talk about how to get into designing, how to start the designing process. Designing is the hardest part about being a concept artist, and it's the one part that really matters. So your art doesn't matter as much as your design. So with that in mind, we're gonna basically take a look at what I scribbled here. So my handwriting is shitty as always, but let's get into explaining a little bit about what we have here. In a previous video, I think it was actually 2 or 3 videos back, I'm not exactly sure, I had this, or actually, yeah, I think it was 2 videos back, 1 video. I think it's the material rendering one. So I said that I'm going to make a character that is a female. It's a tank / heavy character. And then I decided on what my design direction will be. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we have female written right here. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. We want this character to be female. But there's a little bit of a catch here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. So we have a female character, she's heavy, she's a heavy character, which is an interesting combination. Usually males are the ones that are heavy characters, and so seeing a female character heavy is a very interesting design choice, at least for me. Now, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, so don't get me wrong. It's just that male physique is built, so it's more built, and the entire silhouette looks more like something that could pack a lot more power. Women are tinier, therefore their roles are usually like in games are like rogues. By rogue I mean archers, archers, mage, alchemists, things like that. So more magic, you're more orientated on the actual skill and not physical power. But of course, there's video games where female characters are super buff. Let's say Overwatch has this Russian girl that's not supposedly, she is a heavy character. And then, there's a variety of other video games. Fable 2 has a female character that's actually a symbol of power in that game. She's the hero of power. If we have a silhouette of a man and a woman, obviously a woman is tinier compared to a man. So even build, like even bodybuilders. That's just because men have a different physique. Women have a completely different physique than men. They bear children. They have different types of body structure. So bringing this concept of a heavy character to a female is really interesting to me. And also, we're trying to show that this character is feminine, even though their position is not. So we're trying to include elements into this design that you would immediately see. So it's a female, but it's a heavy character. So it's a tank, it's a damage dealer, or a damage receiver. So the next thing we have is we have written tree bones and cloth. So sorry you heard my message on my phone. Anyways, so we have these 3 categories, or not categories, but elements that we're going to apply to our design. There's actually one more that I wanted to add in, one that I even named back then in the video. And that would be fire. So There's a lot of opposites here. A fire and tree, I mean, not opposites, but these things don't go together well. Fire and tree, not something that actually works. But because it's a video game concept, that actually works in our favor. Because when there's a tree element or something that naturally burns, but you can actually, in video games, you can make it so that it doesn't completely burn, and you can make it badass. A good example would be, let's say, cloth and fire, something that doesn't mix well. But if you make the cloth have only little sparkles at the end, and it's slowly burning it, it's not really burning it, because in the entire gameplay you're never gonna, let's say you have a cape and the cape is on fire. A very good example, I think, would be Dark Souls 3. I think it has something similar. I don't think the clothing is on fire, but the actual character, I think, because I haven't actually watched the gameplay, but I think the character gets a little bit more on fire every time you upgrade or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of the idea I got when I saw, I don't know, first half an hour. So that concept, of course it doesn't change. Of course the cape isn't going to burn out, but it does create for an interesting design. You imply that it is going to burn out, but it's not actually going to burn out. So the same thing as we can do with the tree. So kind of what I had in mind was that if we have branches and those branches are really squeezed together, so it creates a space in between. But of course you can't have anything in there. But instead of just having black, so normally it would be black because it's shadow, we add fire, which starts to burst out a little bit, as if the tree branches are covering up some source of energy, that being the fire. So we're trying to put that in there. Sorry, that was a huge amount of air in my microphone. Anyways, we're trying to basically change that and create something interesting, and that could definitely work in our favor. So the next thing we have bones. Bones. The reason why I choose bones is because they go well with trees, the whole branch things. Because if we take wide branches, bones will look really well together, and they're just organic, just like the tree is very organic, and it just works together. Cloth and fire, we already talked about it. Cloth and fire, in this case, are not main elements on which we will base our character off. So cloth and fire, in our case, are, I like to call them, elements of decoration. They do not serve actual design purpose. So in our case, they're going to be more elements of decoration. Cloth is not really going to play any big part. It's not trying to cover up anything. It's not going to try to act as a shield or act as a protective layer from something. It's going to be there to make the cool effect. So let's say maybe like a scarf. It doesn't protect anything. It doesn't really add anything else except decoration. Now, of course, in a video game, you can apply certain buffs to the scarf, and then it can actually have a purpose. But as a design, it doesn't have any actual purpose. And neither does fire. Fire isn't really going to be any kind of source of energy or anything like that. It could be, and we can decide for that if we wish to, let's say, replace the heart of this woman with, let's say, a fire. That could create a source of energy, but it doesn't play a huge impact on the overall look of the character, the silhouette, because it's just fire. Again, it's decorational. Let's say fire just looks cool, and you add it on your character, it's gonna look badass. And unless your character is a fire monster, that fire doesn't play a huge element or a huge part in your design. So I know this is a little bit complicated, but you kind of think about this, and it's all automatic. You don't actually spend the time like I do right now in thinking about it. So our main design is gonna be revolving around trees and bones, right? That's why we want to catch. But it's going to be a little bit tricky here, like I said before, because the female character, we're going to try to combine her armor, whatever, with trees. Now, we can actually make this character also be a monster, so it doesn't have to be an actual female, like a human being. It can be a creature. Now, there's a little bit of a catch here, because if it is a creature, what do we do to make it apply that it's a female creature? Because if it is a creature, it can look like a man, but still be a woman. Because that doesn't, just because humans look like the way we do. So man usually, okay, let's say standard video game heroes. Man, totally buff, girl, big boobs, big ass. So that's the kind of the standard. That's how humans look like. But just because humans look like that doesn't mean the creatures has to. So we have to be able to insert female elements. If we decide to make this a creature, we have to be able to know what we put in to make this character look female, and so that the audience can relate. So that means, let's say a very good example is breasts. They are a sign of a female. Obviously, I mean, men don't have breasts as big as women usually. There's I guess you can argue in there, but usually women have bigger breasts, and if you just see a silhouette, a woman from the side, you know it's a woman because of the breasts, right? Unless you're playing tricks on someone, but generally, you know it's a woman. You also know it's a woman that when it has a nice butt, I guess. So you can try to play around with those things. Maybe have this creature have breasts. A good example for this would be Skyrim's Flaming Anarch. So I think it's called an Anarch. I'm not absolutely sure, but basically it's an animal or a creature that you can summon, and it fights by your side, and it has a fire element. Now it looks like a female, but it's really a bunch of wood and fire. Now that I actually think of it, that's a huge coincidence. But it is a mass of just wood and fire, and it still looks like a female because it has the body, it has the breasts, and it has the butt, and it has the face. It doesn't have any hair. The face actually doesn't consist of any nose and eyes. The arms, I'm not even sure if they look like human arms. I'm gonna pop a picture of the Flaming Anarch right here. As I'm saying all of this, you probably already saw it. Now, we're gonna try to do something in a way like the Flame Anarch, and try to design a heavy character off of that. So the designing part you're gonna see in a different video. This part is gonna be how to get into the thinking process. So again, we're already starting to think. We know we need to somehow make this work. And that is the job of a designer. So now we're going to go internet, and we're going to look at some references and what we do with them. Okay, so here we are. This is my Google Chrome's home screen. Nothing that interesting here. We've talked about what our character is made out of. So now what we want to do is we're going to want to search different things. One of them being branches, right? So let's go into branches. It's very simple. I wrote it wrong. I'm trying to talk and write at the same time, and I'm not the best at that. So branch, there we go. Okay, so here we have branches, right? And I know this might be weird, but you want to collect these things because it can create an interesting shapes. You can come up with different things when you look at these. So I like, let's say, this collection right over here, but it's a little bit small. So let's say this image here, right? It's doesn't actually hold any detail at all, but it has the interesting shape, which can definitely help me when I'm gonna be designing. So I want to keep this. So I want to get as much as possible of these kind of things. Let's say even this tree over here. So these are some of the images that I'm gonna try to collect, and I'm just gonna grab one, and of course I'm gonna wait for it to load. So let that happen now. Alright, so now I'm gonna copy it, and normally I would save this image in my reference library, but for this video I'm not gonna do that. So we can see this is a huge image, but we just shrink it down and we have it somewhere in the corner, right? And you can grab as many references as you want, of course, right? So here we go. We're gonna go check out some more. Maybe we have something interesting going on here. Spring branches. I don't know what it's called in English. I'm sorry. Buds. I think that's what it's called. I'm gonna grab this, and again, just gonna go with where my Photoshop is. I'm telling you, the more screens that you have, the harder it is to get to what you want to get. All right, so again, we got this in. We just scale it down, put it somewhere here. Now this is a very unimportant piece. I'm gonna make it smaller. This is just there for kind of motivation of some spring elements that I can put in. The next thing I want to do is, because I'm not satisfied with the images here, I'm gonna go into thorns. All right, so we want to include thorns. I'm gonna get pictures of thorns, right? So let's see what we got. All right, we got some really nice things, right? Really nice images. First off, this, beautiful. I love the colors. And when you're designing, you're not just searching for shapes, you're also searching for colors. So try to keep that in mind. Even if you are actually working on line art in the beginning, you want to inspire yourself for future events, like not events, but I guess future work, which is, you know, digital painting, eventually you're going to have to paint what you did. Let's see what else we have. We have this thing right here. Very beautiful. Has like these double spikes. Want to have that in. So yeah, and this is kind of how this goes. So I'm going to grab a bunch of these references, and then we're going to come back to say a couple of words. All right? Okay, so here I am with all my references here now. I could definitely grab some more, but I think that this is enough for now. At least I definitely feel like I have enough to work off of. So let's review some of the things we have. We've seen what we grabbed here. Then you saw me grab also these thorns here. But then I grabbed this weird picture, completely random, doesn't really have any information at all. But it does give me a kind of a creepy, it gives me a creepy atmosphere, it gives me creepy ideas, and I like it. It's inspirational, it doesn't have to have any shapes, but if it gives you ideas, keep it in there, you might get something off of it. Then you saw me search for horse spines and just regular bones even here and down here. So they're kind of all over the place right here. Alright, so I searched these because I want to add bones, and they could act as interesting pieces for weapons or different things, and spines are one of the things that looks very cool beside ribs and skulls, so that's kind of what I thought of here. The next thing you saw me grab, it was cloth, so obviously we know why, but I want to get torn cloth because this is going to be more of a fighter character, and if it's a forest environment, you know, she's made out of wood, it's kind of natural that the actual cloth would tore apart. Then I got some, oh yeah, and I also got this creepy skeleton over here like death. I like it because of the shape. It might give me idea for the character because I have 0 ideas right now, so I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. Then you saw me get some anti-artillery weapons now, or AA weapons, whatever you want to call them. So I have no idea where I left off, but I think I was just explaining the anti-artillery weapons. Anyways, let's see. God, that just threw me off completely, that phone call. Alright, let's see. We got alright, let me get my shit together. Alright, so here we have weapons. Anti-artillery weapons. The reason why I wanted to include those is because our character is a heavy character, so it could have some kind of cannons on top. Just because it's an organic creature, it doesn't mean it cannot have cannons. Our character could very well transform their arm, because the arm can be made out of branches, so they can transform their arm into a cannon and shoot out bones glazed in fire. You know what I'm saying? It's a good concept for a video game, and it would work even in real life. Bones are very sturdy, and you get hit by a bone at a high speed, it's like a bullet. It's the same thing, especially if it's on fire, it burns. So definitely some connection there. And then of course at the end we got fire. Right here we got fire. And really that's just because I'm going to add fire, so I want to see how fire acts on wood, and you know, that's the reason why there's fire, and I don't know why I keep drawing circles on different places. But yeah, that's kind of my thinking process behind it. This is kind of how I gather references, and from this point out, is just generating ideas, and that is something that I cannot teach you. That is something that comes with time, it comes with practice, and it's unteachable. I don't think you can teach how to come up with cool ideas. It's really a matter of, I mean, you probably can. It's just I don't know how to. I don't know how to think of the things that I'm going to think of. Referencing things can really help. Again, there's different ways to reach the design. And just remember, when you're designing, the most important thing is you have references. You have to have something to look at, because when you have nothing, it's very scary. If you have references, you can literally take, I don't know, a woman and just make her clothing out of wood, and you have something, you know. It's much better, and it inspires you, you know. It gives you ideas. Okay, you can use thorns, you can use that. It just works subconsciously, I guess. Just try to have ideas. It's always a good backup, because you're gonna have something to return to. It's gonna back you up. But yeah, I guess that's it. I know it was a very boring video, not very fun. We didn't do any designing. Designing is gonna come in a different video. This video is probably gonna be up on the internet. I don't know when. Maybe on Friday. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna see the design process in an actual character design video. So I want to thank you for watching my videos. Again, thanks for supporting the vlogs and different type of videos. Game time is one of the videos that I haven't been making. There is a reason why, and when I make a new game time, which God knows when it'll be, I'll probably explain why, or on a Clement on Monday, which I haven't done in a million years already, in about 3 months or 4 months. So there's quite a lot of catching up I have to do. But again, thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. With that said, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye. 2 hours of break, and then I have my workshop for 2 hours. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. I actually want to show you the city now that it's daylight. So here it is.